This is the Sports Porch, Philadelphia, with your hosts, the Grand Schwalbini, Rube, and me, your technical director. Come on, Philly, show us a little Eagles, Flyers, Phillies, and Sixers love. The Philadelphia Sports Porch starts now. Could you guys hear me during the intro?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. I was having some fun with it. Anyway, welcome to the Philadelphia Sports Porch. We are back again on a Tuesday night now at 7 p.m. I'm the technical director. To my left on this, or right on the screen, is the Grand Schwalbini coming to us from someplace in the woods. And below me is Rube, who's a lifelong Philly fan who lives in the wonderful city of Austin, who you told me last week it was beautiful. Is it still beautiful there? Didn't we talk about this last week?
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Beautiful place. Yeah.
Yes.
We
I don't
love it
think
here.
anybody really wants to hear about that.
No, we've got a lot of things to talk about.
I think everybody wants to talk Phillies trade deadline.
Yes.
We're under 48 hours to go. Thursday, July 31st at 6 p.m. is the time. Will Dave Dombrowski, will he make a move that catapults the Phillies to the next great historic era of Phillies baseball? Or will we continue to make mediocre Austin Hayes type moves that have us leaving the playoffs empty-handed?
That's
Rube?
right. That's page one. Page two. We got a special treat for you.
Yeah, so we're also gonna myself, the Grand Schwalbini, went toe-to-toe with Mike Missinelli of 97.5 The Fanatic, and
let's rip the glove, take the gloves off.
I think I kind of put him in his place a little bit. I mean, he tried, but we'll see what y'all think when we play a little excerpt of that.
Yep,
we got a tribute. We got a tribute to Dick Allen tonight. Went into the Hall of Fame. We've got, of course, what's going on at Eagles camp.
Yep.
We've got our typical what we're watching, so we can give you some feedback on what to watch, so you don't spend your time, wasting hours watching terrible programming.
Mm-hmm.
And we've also got an update on the Philadelphia Beautiful 7th annual Greater Philadelphia Area Cheesesteak Competition. We'll talk a little bit about where we are. We're in the midst of the Sweet 16. We've got a few entrants into our Elite 8. And we'll just give you a little update on that as we move along here.
So I gotta tell you, I haven't had a cheesesteak. I can't tell you the last time I've had a good cheesesteak.
Maybe he should come in when we go to deliver the prize.
I don't think that's a terrible idea.
No, I think it's a really good idea.
I won't eat for a month. I'll get my cholesterol checked beforehand so it doesn't impact that, and away we go.
Yeah, fuck that. Just come up here and eat cheesesteaks. Don't get so
we can do that too.
Yes. So, but before we get into all of that, I want all of you to go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel at Philadelphia Sports Porch. Click the notifications button so you know when we go live, which is every Tuesday night now at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And follow us on X. It's at Philly Porch. That's a great name. At Philly Porch. There's a lot of people on X watching now. Every single one of you needs to hit that follow button because you don't want to miss this. You really don't. Page one. Let's go there. Page one. Will the Phillies add significantly at the trade deadline?
And more importantly, I think, Rube, what I want to know from you is what is your confidence level that Dave Dombrowski is going to nail this trade deadline to make us legitimate contenders?
My confidence is on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to give it a 7. And let me tell you why. I think the more I think about the current state of this Phillies team, which I think we can all agree, perhaps Mattingly, not Dave Mattingly, but Mattingly, like I'm really mad about it sometimes.
Maddeningly.
Not
Maddening,
really. Oh,
maddeningly,
maddening. Okay,
maddeningly.
I'm not sure it's a word, but keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just
let's
cool.
let's go to the thesaurus. Listeners out there, if you could help, I would appreciate a
No,
little
we don't need
backup.
comments on the word Mattingly. Come on, just spit it out, Rube. Spit it out.
Madden, frustratingly inconsistent. I think across the board, right? You take 2 or 3 from the Red Sox, you take 2 or 3 from the Yankees, and then you'll lose with your ace on the mound because you can't score runs for him, and then you just unacceptably lose to the White Sox. And Sanchez doesn't look good for the first time in a while. And again, can't score runs. So, this window of time we have with really high paid, really good players, that window is going to close soon. And as a fan, I would like to see, and everything that I hear, smell, taste, and read, is that most Philadelphia fans want us to go all in and take a shot, even if it means giving up some of the prospects that we talked about last week.
Yeah.
So with that being said, and Middleton is a guy that's been known to spend money, and of course Middleton will give Dombrowski the orders. I think we're going to go out there and I think we're going to, at least get a big right-handed bat and hopefully something to shore up the bullpen. So I'm confident. I feel good about things. What say you, Grand Schwalbini?
Well, the Grand Schwalbini knows the future.
Oh, do tell.
And look, I'm really hopeful that this year is different, that he does something different and makes some legitimate moves. But I don't know, man. My confidence level is not that high. I mean, I'm gonna say it's
Why?
like a 6 out of 10. Well, because look, Dave Dombrowski has had a reputation as a guy who makes moves and deals prospects. However, with the Phillies, he has not. He has gone for the average fill-in player. He hasn't, like, we need a closer who's all-star level, who's going to get the job done. We need an outfield bat, somebody who's in the all-star game, not like an Austin Hayes who's going to, hit, 250 and 10 home runs. You know what I mean? We need stars. And I think if we get a couple stars, this team can win the World Series. But, like I always look at it like this, like, look, granted, many of the moves happen right around deadline time, right?
Mhm.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Like, why do we not have a move right now? The Toronto Blue Jays, they just acquired Sir Anthony Dominguez, former Philly.
But we agreed last week we don't want Sir Anthony back.
Fine. But you know what? They did it today, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
If we want Eugenio Suarez, we got a better chance today than, trying to beat out some team, hoping that we're going to get him for cheap and then we lose out to some other team on Thursday. So, I don't know. I mean, I want to see something get done. As far as the bullpen's concerned, you have Clase is gambling on baseball games.
Love it.
So he's now out of the picture. So that, that ups the ante for, what you got to pay to get a good reliever. So, make a freaking move already. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm just reading something. We talked last week about Quan, and
Yeah.
it looks like he's also tied to the Blue Jays, whom, by the way, was Rube's pick to win the AL East this year, if people recall.
That was that was a really odd, bizarre pick that might be coming true.
It's
Maybe-
brilliant.
maybe-
It's odd and
I
bizarre
mean-
if you get him right once, maybe twice. But when you start getting things right, maybe 3 or 4 times, I think it's just skill.
Well, you're the Grand Schwalbini then.
Well,
think about
not everybody can be the Grand Schwalbini.
No, but I mean, there's tutelage here. So
I'll tell you what would be nice. It would be nice if the Phillies are able to make a run and to get some revenge for that Joe Carter home run from years back.
that still makes me sick to my stomach.
That tons of fans never saw, but yes, I know exactly where I was when that happened.
Were you?
I was in a bar in York, Pennsylvania called Subs Unlimited with my best friend from high school, Jim. Mitch Williams was on the mound. Joe Carter was up to bat. I was watching it and I was hoping to God the Phillies would win because I hated the Blue Jays. Hate it. And remember, I was
You
an
hated
Orioles
Roberto
fan.
Alomar, didn't you?
No, I loved Roberto Alomar because he was on.
He was on the Orioles.
No, he was on the Blue Jays and then went to the Orioles.
Okay.
He's a spitter.
Yeah, the spitter. But anyway, we're getting off track here. Let me finish the story. Right. So yes, we were in that bar having drinks, eating pizza, and I was watching, and I'm like, oh God, the Phillies got to win. I hate the Blue Jays. And then Joe Carter hit that home run, and the whole bar was really mad because York is an Orioles town, so everybody was really pissed off. I'll never forget it.
By the way,
Chris, moments in my life. Yeah.
By the way, Chris, I think you could take any sporting event and say, I remember exactly where I was. I was at a bar.
Yeah, me.
well, right. Technical director. I remember exactly where I was, and I was at the Great American Bar in Conshohocken when I saw that.
I'm not the only one. Okay,
and it was really loud and really exciting. And I don't remember who I was with, but I think I peeked over and said, "Oh no, they took Roger Mason out. They're going to put Wild Thing in because that's what Jim Fregosi does." And that's worked all year. And I'm like, that's going to be a big mistake. And I remember Carter hit the home run, and it was like it wasn't happening because the bar got so quiet you could hear a pin drop. It was devastating.
86 mile per hour fastballs don't usually end well.
Yeah, well, especially to Joe Carter, and that was your Sid Bream moment.
Well, was Sid Bream? Was that the Atlanta against the Braves?
Yeah,
Sid
that was
Bream, the Braves Pirates. Yeah.
Okay.
Where Barry Bonds couldn't throw out Sid Bream.
Yeah, and he was a good and Bonds had a good arm. There's no okay. So we're really
we digress.
We digress. So
in the weeds. Get out the whacker.
So you say confidence of a 70% for Big Dave. I say 60%. Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I want to make a move here. Let's do something. Let's do something.
I want to take advantage of this window, and each week I become more and more convinced that prospects are prospects, and you never know how any of these guys are going to turn out. And but let's go for it. Let's take the chance and go for it and win while we can, because none of these stars are getting any younger.
I heard a guy talking on the radio the other week, and what he said, kind of really resonated with what we're talking about now. He said, if you go back about like 3 years ago, they were saying, about Bryson Stott, he's untouchable. Is he a nice player? Nice player. We don't know. Maybe he's actually not going to be very good. He had one good year, and now he's had 2 down years. But that could be Crawford. That could be Aiden Miller. We don't know, right?
No, we don't. Same thing with the pitcher. Same thing with Painter. Yeah.
All right. Well,
let me
kind of explain. So I'm sure a lot of our fans here listen to Mike Missinelli on 97.5 The Fanatic, and I really like Mike Missinelli. I've been listening to him for years. It's always a bummer when he gets fired. And then,
he gets fired a lot. As a guy who hasn't lived in Philly in like 40 years, I hear about him getting fired more than anything else.
Yeah, he's a bit of a hothead. So he says something controversial, gets fired, and then they bring him back a year later because they realize the ratings suck without him. Right. so
I mean, it's a cooling off period.
Yeah, right.
Plus, it's the fan, and nobody listens to the fan.
So I've been listening to
this.
I've been listening to him for years.
I guarantee it.
And for those of you who don't know, I'm a lifelong Philly fan. Grew up in the Philadelphia area. I'm a 4-for-4 guy. But I live in Pittsburgh now. Unfortunately. But some part of it's fortunate. My wife is the fortunate part.
Yeah.
But so I have a little bit more of an idea about what's going on with the Pirates. And on the Mike Missinelli show, they were doing a segment on would you make the deal? And the deal was Mick Abel, Aiden Miller, and Justin Crawford for O'Neal Cruz.
That's crazy.
and Mike Missinelli was like all over it. Now this is my take. Like, my take is, probably would have Mike Missinelli probably hasn't watched O'Neal Cruz play very much. Okay. If he has, it's just maybe been on like Sports Center on a highlight where he hit a big bomb and he looks good. Right. He's got some numbers that look pretty good. He's got like, 40 RBIs, 30 stolen bases. He's got a great arm. He's got skill, but he is an absolute deadbeat. And they're talking about it like, oh, I'd give away the farm for this guy. He's a special player. So let's just listen to the interaction between the Grand Schwalbini and Mike Missinelli.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
I'm going to apologize to Mike Missinelli up front for this.
Mark in Pittsburgh. Mark checking in, going to say some O'Neal Cruz information. Mark, what do you got?
Hey, what I want to tell you guys is, when you look at O'Neal Cruz and you look at the numbers, he seems like, he's obviously got talent and could be a real good player if he puts it together one day. But we absolutely do not want anything to do with O'Neal Cruz. And I'll tell you why. He basically, in the last 3 weeks, this is what he's done. He's forgotten how many outs there were, so he had to get pulled out of the game by his manager. He didn't run out a double play, of which Brian Reynolds, the left fielder, chewed him out. And if you just go to YouTube and you pull up O'Neal Cruz botched play in center field, you will see one of the worst efforts you'll ever see in your life on a ball that gets by him, and he doesn't even move to go after it. He is just not a good baseball player, period.
Yeah, Mark, let me give you the counter to that. He's playing with that franchise. He's a talented player playing with a franchise that can, day to day, don't win. Now, that's not an excuse for not hustling, but don't you think if he played with a contending team that has a leadership group of veteran guys, that he would get away with that kind of stuff? That he wouldn't be a different player?
No, to be honest, I just don't think he has it. I don't think he loves baseball. I don't think he is motivated. He strikes out a ton. He's just basically going for a big bomb or it's a strikeout. He really, and he can't play the field at all. So, we get worse in center field. It's just another left-handed power bat that strikes out all the time. How are we getting any better?
He's a dynamic player. When he puts it together, could be a superstar in this league.
Unbelievable.
And you know it. Now, forget about the loafing part. The loafing part is problematic, but I go, that's because he's playing with the Pirates. You can get beaten down playing with the Pirates.
Well, I mean, but isn't that kind of easy to say? I mean,
it's not easy to say. When you open a season, you have no chance to win. Your management's not going to win. That they're going to pedal every guy who gets good. They're going to pedal away. What interest would you have? What investment are you going to make in that team you're playing for? If you're a star player, you want to get out of there. You want to get out of there. Everybody who's a good player wants to get out of there.
Well, maybe you could actually be one of the best players in baseball and make an all-star game legitimately instead of for a fluff piece home run derby.
I get it. I know. I'm sure he frustrates Pittsburgh Pirates fans. But my answer to that is the Pittsburgh Pirates frustrate Pittsburgh Pirates fans. They're never, ever going to win. That city shouldn't even have a baseball team at this point. Now, that punishes fans who show up decently for that team. But that management does not make any investment to win at all, to spend to win. So if I'm a ball player and I play for that franchise, I go, is this fun? It's like Scotty Scheffler. Is this fulfilling?
So
there you have it.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought was exactly what yours was. This guy hasn't watched O'Neal Cruz play a lot. Right. And I wouldn't expect that. So right. he's buying the hype. He's buying the hype. And well,
I felt like he kind of showed that he really didn't have anything in the holster when he said to me, he's a dynamic player, and you know that.
And you know it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I was like,
listen, I
no,
thought you came loaded to bear. I mean, listen, you had your stats and you had your speech ready to go. And clearly this guy, how do you expect these guys to know every player out there?
Yeah,
So clearly you came in with an advantage, but I thought you made, listen, I was just impressed that you made good, sound, logical, cohesive, arguments. And it's interesting to see these guys that you listened to growing up, and now you see them like you see us. It's kind of, I was watching for his expression as you were making your points, and he didn't once give you the poo-poo look like, who is this idiot? I think he
Right.
was definitely interested, and he's like, yeah, this guy came prepared to play. So that's what I took away.
Yeah, and
Thank you, Rube.
all he had to say afterward was he's a dynamic player and you know it. And the Pirates suck. Pittsburgh shouldn't have a team. They're a bunch of habitual losers who don't know how to win and never will win. And for that reason, the fans are frustrated. So why would you try to do your job the best you can so you can get out of there and make a lot of fucking money like Garrett Cole?
Right.
I mean, to say that it's okay for any player on any professional team that people go to watch, and it's expensive now, is a loafer because his team and the firm that he plays for, which is a professional baseball team, is bad, and that's an excuse. He should be fired.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Pathetic. That was pathetic.
Yeah, see, I'm tired of that excuse. Well, he plays on a bad team. Who would want to play?
Let me say one quick thing. I've never heard Mike Missinelli speak. I've never heard any of his stuff. So I don't think he's a bad host.
No.
I'm just saying that explanation right there to me was completely indicative of another market person, either a fan or in the media, who has no idea what goes on inside this bubble. They have their own bubble. It's big. We have a small bubble here. And they should take to heart what we're saying. O'Neal Cruz is a bust, period.
Right.
You heard it here first 5 years ago on another show, and I'm telling you now. And I'm done. So you guys have fun with it.
I wanted to put up Les the Lemmer. If a player is a professional, they should be a professional, period.
Right.
I agree with you, Leslie.
Yes.
And, one of the things that I wish that I would have said, but, you think about it after the fact, is I would have said to them, well, how come it is that Mike Trout is able to win multiple MVPs on a horrible Angels team?
Well, let's just make sure we have that right. I'm going to look up how many MVPs Mike Trout won. I know he won at least one. So, but
does it really matter if he's won
I just want to know. I just want to
know. Well, Rube, any other closing remarks on the Missinelli Grand Schwalbini feud?
No, I think you should be a regular caller. Like, hi, this is Mark, not long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm Mark. I call every week. This is Mark from Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Mike Trout, 3 MVPs. 3 MVPs. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. All right. I say we do not talk about Pittsburgh baseball players anymore.
No more.
Well, you might have to if David Bednar is in the mix.
Bednar comes to the team.
That doesn't count as a banned situation, because
if he's a Philly, then we can talk about him.
All right, guys. Now, I think this is one here where probably a lot of you watching at home, listening at home, you might not know a lot about Dick Allen, right? But Dick Allen is a famous Philly who went into the Hall of Fame this weekend. Unfortunately, posthumously, if that's how you say it.
Posthumously.
Let me just tell you a little bit about the man Dick Allen. 1964 rookie year with the Phillies. He got the National League Rookie of the Year. He led the league in runs, triples, extra base hits, and total bases that year. In 1972, when he had moved on to the AL, he was the AL MVP. He was a 7-time All-Star, 2-time AL home run leader, 1-time AL RBI leader, 1-time NL slugging percentage leader, led on base percentage in the NL and the AL on separate occasions. His number 15 is retired on the Phillies Wall of Fame. I thought this was pretty cool. Now, we never even seen this stadium, but he played at Connie Mack Stadium, which was before Veterans Stadium. And apparently he hit a 529-foot home run, which cleared the Coke sign.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and apparently Willie Stargell was so impressed by it that he made a comment that basically said, when Dick Allen hits a home run, there just is no souvenir, because like you're just not going to get it. So just career stats, 1,848 hits, 351 home runs, 79 triples, 320 doubles, 1,119 RBIs, 133 stolen bases, and a batting average lifetime of 292. So,
Not too shabby.
Yeah, I can tell you this. I mean, he was one of my dad's favorite players, and I always heard my dad talk about how good Dick Allen was. Unfortunately, never got to see him play, but seems like well-deserved. And it's kind of, there's been a lot of guys getting in lately who probably should have been in sooner.
I couldn't believe Dave Parker wasn't in.
Yeah, I know. Dave Parker's another one. Very similar.
There we go, talking about Pirates players.
Oh, I just fell into my
Come
own
on,
trap.
man.
You did it, man. You did it to yourself.
Seriously.
Any thoughts on Dick Allen, boys?
I didn't get to, I always saw his name up on the wall at Veterans Stadium, but like you, I never had a chance to see him play. He was a little bit before our time, even though he played through 77. And what I didn't know is he actually played for the Phillies on 2 different occasions. So when I learned about him, same thing. My dad, big Detroit Tiger fan and a big Dick Allen fan, for some reason. And he said, "Yeah, the guy, he was a slugger." That was the first time I ever heard my dad in his New York accent say, "Guy was a slugger." So yeah, God bless. I'm glad he made it. It's always great to see a Philly make it. And too bad it was posthumously. You'd like to see these guys who probably did it the right way get in, as opposed to maybe like a Pete Rose, if you will.
Yeah.
What say you, TD?
Well, I heard of Dick Allen. I knew he was a good player. After watching looking at these stats, I'm thinking, why didn't he get in sooner? I mean, I think a little sooner, just like Dave Parker. So. But yeah, that's great.
Who do you guys think is going to be the next Philly to get into the Hall of Fame?
John Kruk, hands down.
Is that because you look like John Kruk?
Right? Well, to be honest, I think
he's a hell of a hitter.
I think it'll either be Chase Utley, Cole Hamels, or Jimmy Rollins. It'll be one of those 3.
Was Rollins? He was on the ballot. Was he on the ballot this year?
Yeah, like Rollins and Utley have each year been kind of going up. They've been getting closer. Now, this is actually the first year that Cole Hamels will be on the ballot. And I did see, apparently, I guess it's not like a huge year for big time all-stars going in. Like he's pretty much like him and one other guy are like the big names this year on the first ballot for the first time. So it's possible. I think Chase Utley would probably be the next guy to get in, because everybody just, like he had that peak time where it was like for about 5 to 7 years, he was like the best second baseman in baseball. So that's probably my guess,
Speaking of one of the best second basemen in baseball, rest in peace, Ryan Sandberg. Hated to see that. Never liked playing against him. Didn't he manage us for a while as well? Yeah. So rest in peace, Rhino.
Yeah. And you know what really sucks too? I mean, the fact that, he dies at 65. And the first thing that I think is, well, that's only 10 years older than me. and, I'm hoping to retire at 65.
Oof.
So if I was Ryan Sandberg, I wouldn't have even enjoyed a second of retirement.
Well, no, he retired a while ago. He had a hell of a retirement.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. He did.
Yeah.
Good
He
for
didn't
him.
have
Look,
super-
God rest his soul. God rest
Right.
his soul. And I hope you live longer, Schwaber. I hope you
Well,
live.
thank
I
you.
hope
At this
so
point, you
too.
have, at this point, you have lived longer than Ryan Sandberg.
Yes.
So,
Yes, I have.
it's all good. It's all
right.
good.
So did you
By the
want
way,
to,
I just wanted to show you, in case you didn't realize it, I do have a Roberto Alomar Jr. figurine on my desk. So
That's
that
great.
should tell you. Yeah.
Do you-
It just
do you also
doesn't say
That tells
junior.
me something that you've got a figurine.
do
That's
you
a
also
different
have a collection of Smurfs or something?
No, but I do have a Nolan Ryan right there. Best pitcher ever. Yep. And then
I have a hula girl.
here's Deion Sanders sliding into my microphone.
All right.
See?
Okay. It's
We're good.
going off the deep end here.
Well, I'm just, just
Did you
having
wanna-
fun. I mean, you
wanna
said
talk-
you said I hated Roberto Alomar, so I just wanted you to see the figurine to know that no, I have love for him. I do.
Do you want to talk cheesesteaks or not?
Let's do that. Follow the Philadelphia Sports Porch at Philadelphia Sports Porch on YouTube. If you're watching us on X, we got about 90 plus people watching us live right now there. Just hit the follow button. It's called at Philly Porch. It's really, really easy to do. And then you can see us every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Right, guys? 7 p.m. And I do drop the podcast after the show, so you can catch up and listen to the podcast on the Spotify app or anywhere you get your friggin' podcast. But this is something that's really exciting. We've been doing this. I mean, Mark started doing this, the Grand Schwalbini, 7 years ago. Last couple years, I kind of jumped on to be a bigger part of the ride, so to speak. It's so much fun, and there's so many people getting on Facebook on Philadelphia Beautiful and voting. So the 2025 Philadelphia Beautiful Greater Philadelphia, I spelled Philadelphia wrong, son of a
Philadelphia.
bitch. Yeah, Philadelphia fists.
Oh boy.
Hey,
Oh,
listen,
golly.
man. Nothing's perfect, Rube. The 2025 Philadelphia Beautiful Greater Philadelphia Cheesesteak Contest is running now. So go to Philadelphia Beautiful on Facebook to vote. And Mark, give it to us.
Yeah, so for those of you who aren't aware, we do it on our Philadelphia Beautiful page. We got about 47,000 followers. And every year we have a competition. We do it sort of like an NCAA bracket. We don't go crazy. I know there's some other ones out there that do like 65 places. I do 32 each year. And what I do is the bottom 4 each year come out, and then I let folks vote in a new 4 every year. So right now we are in the midst of our Sweet 16. And what we got going at this point, last year's champion was Lillo's Tomato Pies. Now, keep in mind, this is the Greater Philadelphia Area Cheesesteak Competition. That means they don't have to actually be within the city limits of Philadelphia, people. Okay. If you are a, half an hour car ride from Philadelphia, it's okay. That you're still part of the area.
Austin, Texas?
Not
It's a little
Austin,
far.
Texas.
It's right outside the zone.
That would not qualify.
Okay.
But Lillo Tomato Pies, we went there last year, presented them their
Had a great time.
Their bracket, had a great time. They really hooked us up. They treated us great.
Yeah. I gained 10 pounds that day.
They have advanced into the Elite Eight. Curly's, who we also visited last year, they had won 2 years ago in Levittown.
Same thing.
They have advanced. Our number 3 seed last year was Gazzo's, who was a new entrant last year, just voted in. So, it's not like, the bottom 4 never do anything. Gazzo's got in last year, made a big upset and went all the way, down to the final 4. So Gazzo's is in, and also Barry's is in. Barry's had some issues last year and had to close, but they've reopened, and they have a huge following. They were very neck and neck with Chubby's this year, but they just edged them out to advance. Today we're going with it's a battle between Jay's
Jay's
steak
steak.
and hoagie joint.
Yeah,
They do the
Jay's.
famous pretzel roll cheesesteaks, which we
Which
had
is
last year as well.
delicious, by the way. Delicious. Yeah.
Right. And they are going up against. I'm just blanking here for a second.
I know you want to check your phone.
Yeah,
Pudges,
they're going
right.
up. They're going up against Pudges.
Yeah.
And Pudges is in Bluebell. So just to give you I'll tell you everybody else who's still in it at this point. You've got Jim Steaks and Cosme's Deli will be facing off. You've got John's Roast Pork and Angelo's Pizzeria, and you've also and then we got Donkey's Place and Stoli Steaks. Stoli Steaks is a new entrant.
Yeah.
Voted in this
Where's
past year.
Do we know where Stoli Steaks is?
They're in Philadelphia somewhere.
Okay.
But look, it's fun. There's a lot of people that get very passionate about about their favorite places, and look, here's the bottom line.
Russellton Avenue. There you go. Sorry, had to look it up.
So look, for me, I grew up a Jim's guy, so Jim's has always been one of my favorites. There for whatever reason, there's a group of people nowadays who they think anything with Cheese Whiz is garbage, and I don't really understand that. To me, that's the beauty of it all. But now it's
Love
really
that.
big to do Cooper Sharp and all this kind
Oh,
of
the
stuff.
different cheeses. Yeah.
Yeah, they're different, but so a lot of people vote for Jim's because they've been really popular for a long time. But then you always have people that are like, they shouldn't be in it. For me, John's Roast Pork is probably, in my top 5. And they're going up against Angelo's, a lot of people love Angelo's, but interestingly enough, for whatever reason, Angelo's never really gets a whole crew of people voting for them for some reason.
Huh.
So people will say oh, we got John's Roast Pork versus Angelo's. That's bullshit. That should be the finals. Well, the bottom line is you have to vote.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what this is.
You want to win? You got to vote. You got to
vote. And look, here's the bottom line. Look, everybody's palate's different. I'm going to like a steak that's different than you two guys and vice versa. So look, the whole idea behind it is it's just an open competition. It's whoever you are, vote for your favorite, and whoever gets the most votes wins. So yeah, it is a popularity contest, but at the same time, what that also tells you is, well, hey, if the places that win or get really far are the places that everybody's voting for, you know what? They might be pretty good. So
what a great speech.
Yeah, so
that's
the kind of stuff. I get stuff all the time. Like for example, the latest thing is, last year there's a place in Maple Glen, which is actually where I grew up, called Verona's Pizza. Right? Apparently, they make a great cheesesteak. I had them on the list to get in to this year's competition to replace the bottom 4 for last year. They didn't get enough votes, but for whatever reason, now I read how could this be considered a competition without Veronas? Well, you got to vote
every year.
Them.
Yeah.
So I just write back to people. I'm like, hey, they just didn't make it, but hey, maybe it'll be different this year. Vote for them.
Yeah.
What you could be, Grant Schwalbini, as I think about your place in the world and what a great service you're doing for all these businesses and cheesesteak lovers everywhere. It kind of reminds me of Wrexham and how Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney bought this team, and they were in the lowest division in English and Wales football, and now they've been promoted multiple times because of the investment and the love. I think you should maybe do that with, is it Ferrone's? And you should start to be their agent. And you should say, you know what, guys, we're going to go build you up to cheesesteak champions of the world on Philadelphia Beautiful. And here's what you guys need to do. and you're going to take this town of Maple Glen, which was once just a wonderful place when the Schwabs lived there, and maybe has fallen on hard times with all the coal mining that's gone away, and now you're going to raise them up, and they're going to be champions.
I like
I
it.
think that's what
Wow.
I'm watching. That's what I'm watching.
But also too on a
Coming
serious
soon to Hulu.
on a serious note, folks, the whole idea behind this is that it's a great way to just promote local businesses. So go out there, go to the mom and pop shop, stop going to the chains, support your local businesses. Just so you know, because I always get some people like asking, nobody pays to be in it.
No, it's free. Yep.
It's free, and
Well,
we
and
choose based on votes. That's
votes,
it.
right? Yep.
Right. So, it's just an open competition for everyone. And I'll tell you what, I mean, what it's really all about is like, look, when Curly's won a couple of years ago, I had not heard of Curly's. I had never been out to the Levittown, joint. And, because of that, they won. And so I traveled out there, met with Curly. We even stopped back last year because, we enjoy his company so much. And love his cheesesteak. And, because of that, the word spreads. And I love it when we're going through this and people are saying comments like, hey, we're going to have to go down, try Curly's. We're going to have to try Lillo's. We're going to have to try Barry's. We're going to have to try Gazzo's. That's what it's all about. It's all about positivity. It's all about building up our local businesses. And so we're happy to have you along the ride for us. And every day there's a new battle, and we will see who wins this thing probably sometime mid-August.
Hey, I want to ask you a question as someone who's rather new to this. So I went to Philadelphia Beautiful on Facebook. Where do I actually vote? Like, how do I vote?
Read the post.
Yeah, you gotta read each post. What you do is you like, for example, so today it's Jay's. I believe Pudge's is number 6. There's the 6 seed, and Jay's is the 10 seed. So you just go into the comments section and you either write 6 or 10. And look, there's different ways to do this. There are somewhat easier ways to do it, where you could do it by way of like a poll. But the reason why I don't like doing that is a couple things. Number one, if a particular cheesesteak place is ahead by a lot, then people will just not vote because they'll figure it doesn't make a difference. And then the other part of it is I like doing it in the comments because I like the interaction and, people saying back and forth, oh, you got to try this place. You got to try that place. This place has the best meat because it's chopped. This place has the best meat because it's, ribeye, or whatever it is. Right. So I like the interaction. So you just go into the comments.
I got it.
Your number.
All right. I got it.
All right.
Easy enough. All right. Lots of comments.
Yeah.
35 plus comments today.
What's in it for me is cheesesteaks when we go out to Philly. I mean,
yeah, it's every year we now take a trip out to Philly. The winner gets a a really nice bracket that you can hang on your wall in your shop. And
how about a signed picture? How about a signed picture from the Sports Porch Philadelphia?
We might add that this year.
Well, we have pictures from last year. I can't find them though. They were on my desk.
Yeah.
But anyway, the trip out was tremendous. I mean, for everybody, I went to school in Philadelphia. I went to Drexel. It's where I met Mark. It's where I met Rube. Rube wasn't going to Drexel. He was going to some shitty school. I don't remember what it was, but anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, cheesesteaks. But Mark introduced me to cheesesteaks in Philly. Of course, we went to Pat's. It was the 80s. All right. So don't get upset. It was, they were the king of steaks back then. And so then I moved away. And I hadn't had a real cheesesteak. No such thing as a real cheesesteak anywhere else but in the Philadelphia area. I'll just say in Philadelphia. No such thing on the planet. And I tried many, many times to find one, and I couldn't. So going back there and having those cheesesteaks, even the new ones, I mean, you old timers, Pat's is great. Of course, Jim's is great, and the new kids now they want to do different things. All these pop up restaurants, and the palettes are changing. So I'm hip to that. I'm hyped
Right.
to that. As the
Right.
kids.
You're,
I mean-
are you hip like the kids?
I'm
There,
hyped,
CD?
I'm hyped to that.
And
Word.
just so
And I
and
love
just so
them
you
all.
know, and just
That
so you
pretzel
know,
roll, that pretzel roll
Yeah.
steak,
Jay's, yeah.
that was genius. That was my favorite of
Yeah.
the weekend.
And just so you know, to show that we are with the times, Geno's and Pat's aren't even in it anymore.
No.
They don't make the top 32. They just don't get enough votes.
Yeah.
They're still pretty good cheesesteaks. I mean, because
look,
they have them on TV all the time, so people go there when they come in here. People say it's a tourist trap, but the bottom line is there's just a lot of new stuff now that's really good.
Really good. Yeah, and Pat's is a tourist trap now, but it was the first real Philadelphia cheesesteak I ever had, and it was so delicious when I had it that you will never forget your first time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I will always like that cheesesteak.
I hear you.
So there you have it, guys. Go to Philadelphia Beautiful every morning. Mark posts, whatever the matchup for the day is. Be nice in the comments. It gets a little dicey in there. If you want some entertainment, you see about 500 comments. Start reading some of them. It's a lot of fun, but be nice.
The only dicey we want to see are the onions, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Every now and then I will delete a comment if it's just gone too far.
Yeah. Yes, it is moderated. So, just be gentle. You can have an opinion, but be gentle. All right.
And also, you know what? One other thing just to mention. Just so you know, because we actually had this just started in the last not today's matchup, but the matchup the day before. We will never ever offer you anything by way of a reward or a contest or anything to give us your credit card. People go on and they hack things and they make posts that
they leave
like
comments.
Your account.
Yeah.
Right. And none of that is real. So just shut that down. Don't even pay attention to it.
Right. You got it. All right. Moving on. You can follow us on YouTube at Philadelphia Sports Porch. And if you're one of the hundreds of X viewers right now at Philly Porch, hit that follow button. We just got on X, so that's why our followers are low. But you can tell we're working really hard to get that number up. So, it doesn't cost you anything. And all you do is click a button. What's wrong with kids these days? All they got to do is click buttons. And
then you can say you follow the Sports Porch, guys.
I try to go on there, if not every day, every other day, and put a poll down.
Yeah.
So, whatever happens, whoever the Phillies get at the trade deadline, I'm going to say you for it, you against it. Would you rather have this guy? Would you rather have that guy? All that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of fun.
Share it out there. Okay, moving on. Page 4, Eagles training camp notes. So this must be not a great big one because you didn't send me any visuals for this. So,
well, you asked for less visuals.
Yeah, it's true. Only this week because I'm under the gun here.
You were complaining about doing your job.
I wasn't complaining about it. I'm leaving to go to New York City tomorrow. I got a lot of shit going on. I had to mow my 2-acre lawn. I mean, come on, it's real life.
Is there another one of your kids getting married?
No, this is the second part of the entire wedding ceremony. The first part was the ceremony up in the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens, and there were about 15 of us there. This is the reception at a Brooklyn winery, and there's going to be 100 people there. Why they split it? This must be the new thing. I don't know. Okay. I'm looking forward to it because it's I love everybody there. But
Rube, have you been paying attention to any Eagles training camp notes?
I listen to the radio and hear what's going on. I'll tell you what I hear from Texas land.
Okay.
I hear there was a little bit of backlash today because someone was asking Vic Fangio about Adoree Jackson.
Right.
Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I did.
And he didn't necessarily give a wonderful review or any glowing remarks.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you who didn't hear, they had Fangio and they said, so what do you think about Adoree Jackson and what time of is he going to get some playing time? And he's just like, hey, I didn't know much about I didn't know much, never saw any film on him, how he wanted to pick him up and how he's going to do how he's going to do, and he's probably not going to listen to what I have to say. And then he came back. Then he came back in the next clip and he said something to the effect of, listen, he played for Tennessee, they didn't re-sign him.
Right.
Played for the Giants, they didn't re-sign him. So we'll have to see what he has to offer here, something to that effect. I'm not
Right.
quoting him. So that made some news, and I heard that. And the other stuff, I heard Jihad Campbell looks pretty good, so that's exciting. And what else have I heard? That's really about it. Every time someone drops, every time Hurts throws an interception, it's like, well, in training camp, well, oh no, the sky is falling. That's about it.
Mhm.
What are you hearing? Catch me
A
up.
couple things that I've heard. That there's a little bit of concern at the safety position because Drew Makuba has gotten a little nicked up early on, and he is on the smaller side.
Yeah, we talked about that on draft night.
I don't think anybody is sold on Sidney Brown, as he kind of plays a little bit out of control. So again, they kind of created this problem themselves by trading CJ GJ. Elliot Shore Parks, who's a big Eagles beat reporter, he seems to think that the starting safety is maybe not on the team at the moment, like that they might trade for one. Do you know, did that Justin Simmons, did he ever sign with anybody yet?
I don't think he has yet.
Okay,
I'll go look it up, but I don't think he has.
He's still out there. He makes a lot of sense because he's got the Vic Fangio background. But they've also been experimenting with playing Cooper DeJean at safety. So he's getting reps at safety as well. Now, I'm not really a big fan of that because, look, we know Cooper DeJean's a good corner. So shouldn't we just keep him there for now?
They say he's put on a bunch of muscle too.
Yeah.
So that may be an indicator that he may be playing some more safety.
Yeah. Well, but now remember though too, I mean, he played some safety in college. So, he is kind of like a do-it-all kind of back. I also know that one thing that they've experimented with is with Quinyon Mitchell. Last year, he just played the right side of the defense. They're giving him reps all over the field now because they plan on if there's a particular receiver like a Justin Jefferson maybe that's going to move over to the other side or play in the slot, they want to be able to have Q follow that receiver all over the field. So that's going to be kind of like a new challenge for Quinyon Mitchell this year, but I think that's a good thing. And the other thing that I've heard that is promising is you can't hear enough good things about Jalix Hunt and Moro Ajomo. It seems like they're just wreaking havoc, and everybody thinks that those guys are going to break out and really fill in for Josh Sweat and Milton Williams, who they'll be taking their positions. And I believe it too, because I really the past year really kind of watched their development, and I think that those guys are going to be pretty good players. So
I don't know, Schwalby and Chris, or if you've did you watch Quarterbacks on Netflix?
I haven't, but he has. Yeah,
I've watched this season. I'm almost to the last one, and they, for those of you watching, so they have Joe Burrow, they have Jared Goff, and they have Kirk Cousins, who I just can't stand watching.
He's hard. It's hard.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I like him. He's too nice a guy to be a quarterback. That's the problem.
Yeah. He's probably one of the richest. He's probably made the most money in the NFL over anyone ever. So I can't feel too badly.
Yeah. No, I don't feel bad for him at all.
And so they must have been showing a highlight, and Milton Williams was on there and made a play, and you could hear some of the the mic'd up stuff, and it just kind of, I don't know why this just turned me the wrong way, but Milton Williams made a play and he was talking to the offensive lineman. He's like, "Hey man, I gotta get paid." Like, I know
Oh,
I'm going to
really?
be a free agent this year, and I'm like, you know what? Goodbye. Go be another guy who's going to go get his money and doesn't do jack when he leaves the Eagles. Just like that Hargrove guy that we got that
Yeah.
never really
Mhm.
did much in San Francisco. But I
Interesting.
digress.
No, that's an interesting story because one time, it's not new. I mean, but you'd be surprised. I hung out with James Harrison of the Steelers for a while, about a year and a half ago. There was an event that the one of the VIPs at the event happened to be a friend of mine, and we went to the event, and he knows James Harrison, so we sat down, introduced, and I was just like, shit, I get to sit next to the guy that made in arguably one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history.
Oh, the
You know,
interception.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
interception. Right,
Mhm.
right. So, I won't tell you about everything we talk about because we talked for a good half hour, 45 minutes. And he was a nice guy, but he's very intimidating. I mean, it was like he was a nice, intimidating guy. So I basically asked him about leaving the Steelers and going to the Patriots. And did it worry him, the optics of that, being a Steelers going to the, he said, no, man, it's a business. He said, I didn't care at all. He said, when I went to training camp, and then I was bouncing around the league for a couple years, because he was a nobody for like 3 years,
Mhm.
maybe even 4.
Yeah.
And he said, and the Steelers finally picked me up. Deuce Staley. So this is the Philadelphia connection. He was, I
Mhm.
think, the running backs coach.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Deuce Staley basically said to me, like, listen, man, in this league, the only way to get paid is to play well and take care of yourself. And I thought, yeah, he's driving this, he's got this, he wears that. He was looking at all the things that he had, this huge house. And he said, yeah, I looked at that and I thought that's where I need to be. So I started working out. I started doing this. I started doing that, so there's another side to this that's going on. So Milton Williams, he's not the only guy.
No,
They're all like
it just
that.
turned me.
All like that.
Yeah. I mean, can't just be happy to be on a great team, and
Well, dude, we would be
and
happy. We would be happy because we're old white men who will never achieve that greatness. Do you know what I mean? But these guys, it's a job, They and I don't blame them. I hate how high these players' salaries have become.
So you don't agree with Bryce Harper when he told Manfred to F off? When
Well,
he,
yeah, I mean, and I'm surprised we didn't bring that up earlier.
Yeah.
I did not see it, or hear it.
Mhm.
I blacked myself out from it because it's kind of like, oh boy,
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
honestly, like, no, I think that the economics of this are off the charts.
It's ridiculous how much
These
it
Yeah.
guys,
Well,
they work hard. They do. There's no question
yeah.
about it. But the market is
they're not
way
Yeah.
too
they're
big.
not
Way.
saving lives.
Well, yeah.
No,
Well, what
they're
I
not.
what I would
You're
what I
right.
would say is this, though, like in sort of defense of Bryce Harper, look, you pretty much got the best union in sports because you don't have a salary cap.
Yeah.
So if you don't have it, I don't see why you would give it up, not having it, right?
Right. Right.
Now, the way I sort of look at it is, if what it's about is not so much limiting salaries, but improving the parity in the league,
Yeah, competitive landscape of the league.
then
Yeah.
then all you don't have to do anything with the salary cap. You just have to make a floor. You got to make a floor so that it's 100 million. So the Yankees can spend 300 million, and then the Pirates have to spend 100 million or 125 million instead of 60 million.
Right. Yeah, which
Right.
is what they're headed for. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's what you need to do. I mean,
Yeah.
don't worry about taking players' money away. Just try to improve, the competitive landscape by making a floor.
Okay. And what does this have to do with Eagles training camp notes?
Very little.
Boy, did we go down a
Uh,
rabbit hole.
We
All right,
did,
bring
we
us
did.
back up.
I can tie it in.
Okay.
Tie it in real
Um,
quick, brother.
I did see that there was a question for Jalen Hurts this week, and they said if you could play another sport, what would you play? And he said, I would team up with Bryce Harper and play baseball.
There you go. Excellent. All right. What we're watching, I'll take the intro on this one.
Okay, you do it. Give it a shot.
So this is Mark's favorite part of the show. He likes to say that anyway, whenever he introduces it. But what is this part of the show? Well, it's what we're watching, and it's exactly what it says. It's what we're watching. But what's great about it is that we are giving back to you by watching what you should watch or what you shouldn't watch. You can waste about 45 minutes trying to find something on all these streaming services, and that's valuable time. Time that you could be finishing off that frozen pizza, watching a documentary,
family time,
blasting through a chocolate babka like my wife does, watching Amazon Prime. Yeah, babka. Absolutely. So we're going to give you that time so you can enjoy that babka or that frozen pizza that hopefully you've cooked. And we're going to tell you what you should watch, what you shouldn't watch, and then you'll be a hero in your hometown, even if it's Maple Glen. How about that? Is that good?
It was okay. Right. We'll work on it.
I get to go first, right?
Sure. Yes, go first.
Yeah, I think Rube said I get to go first. So I watched Titan, the documentary on Netflix.
Is that about the that vessel that went down for the shipwreck and exploded?
They don't explode, they implode. But yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
But basically, yeah, I know what you're going to do here, and I'm not going to let you do it. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not going to let you do it.
I'm gonna withhold. I'm gonna restrain myself.
Yeah. Because there's a behind the scenes look at this company and what they did, and the best thing I can tell you is that they knew that this thing was going to implode, and they went down anyway. They went down there anyway, and there's a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes. And it was a documentary that I resisted watching for a long time because it's not it's not in my wheelhouse as a documentary, but I watched it and it's good. And this company really, there were whistleblowers and they knew this was going to happen.
Is it like a 3-parter or is it like 1 hour and a half?
About 90 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe a little less than 90 minutes actually. So
let me take a gander at this.
Of course he's got to do it. He's not going to let me stop.
He can't restrain.
Documentaries, they really kind of appeal to me because there's so much you don't know. But let me try to guess as to what happened here. So this vessel goes deep into the water.
Right.
And it implodes. And everybody dies. Have I pretty much summed up the documentary?
Yeah, that's the headline. That's the headline. That's it. No, there's a lot more. There's a lot more. Yes.
Well, it does. I will say that it does sound interesting that everybody knew it was going to implode.
Yeah.
But they still went down anyway.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah. And the people that went down were tourists that paid for it. And then the CEO of the company.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least he went down with the ship.
If I were to tell you that somebody's name was Stockton Rush, would that not tell you everything you need to know about them?
He's probably got a pretty nice portfolio.
Yeah. Portfolio, narcissism,
hedge fund.
Yeah, you got it. You got everything you need to know there.
Elon, anything that ends with an on.
Yeah, it was unreal. So good documentary to watch, and it's in more recent times. So
thank you for engaging with the show this week.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank
Listen,
you.
anything to push that viewership up. Yeah. The Grand Schwalbini. Are we doing you or Rube next?
It's up to you.
Okay,
I'll bow clean up. Go ahead, Grand Schwalbini.
Okay. Alrighty, the Grand Schwalbini.
The Waterfront on Netflix. Anybody watch it, you guys?
I have not yet, but I'm probably going to.
Okay, it's a good one, guys. It's it's real simple. It's 8 episodes, so you can watch it pretty fast. Looks like it's going to be coming back for season 2. You got Maria Bello. She's the wife in this story about a family that runs a fishery that has been in the in the family for years and years and years. Over time, when the family has been up against it business wise, they have dabbled into drug runs to keep themselves out of going into default, to keep their family legacy going. And when you engage in such things as drug runs, often bad things happen. You run into the wrong people. You run into a new boss that wants to do things their way. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, look, for me, anything that's about running drugs, that's got a lot of killing,
Yeah.
and just crazy family dynamics that are just insane.
This sounds like my life, Mark. What
That's
do you
yeah,
except for the drug running thing?
yeah. I mean, I mean, to me, it's a very good time. So no, really, I think you'll like it. It's it's totally suspenseful. Every kind of episode, you're kind of on the edge of your seat. What's going to happen? Is the DEA going to catch them? How they're going to get away from this family, that family? Ex-girlfriend comes back to town. You got a little love. You got everything.
Sounds like Ozark.
It's
Yeah,
not
it
nearly as
it
good
does.
as Ozark,
Well,
but it's good. It's entertaining.
all right, sweet. The Waterfront on Netflix. Rube, we're going to let you bat cleanup, as you
I love
said.
it. I love it.
Rube is watching something I think a lot of people are going to end up watching.
So good. So good. So
Billy Joel
thankfully,
and So It Goes on
I gotta give
HBO.
a call. I gotta give a call out to my son, Luke Rubenstein. Somehow or another, got Max or HBO when he was in college, and so somehow or another we get it in our house, and was super excited to hear about this. I've been a huge Billy Joel fan my whole life. I think everybody is. It's hard not to love his music. And essentially, what it is, it's a two-part documentary, um, and it goes back to the beginning in the 70s where he got his start. And it was a super interesting story because I didn't know much about his personal life. And this really dives deep into when he got started in music and he married this woman who happened to be married to one of his best friends. Um,
Why do they
and, a lo-
all do that? They all
and
do that.
and they stay married for a while and she actually becomes his manager, but a lot of the songs that we all know, like She's Got a Way About Her, all these
Don't know
songs,
what it is.
but I have to laugh. And a lot of these songs, early songs leading up to like The Stranger, which just became his big breakout album, um, were just written about her. And it talked about when he was getting started and about how, he was the other piano guy that everyone thought he was trying to compete with Elton John. And he was talking about how much he resented that and wanted to be like the opposite of Elton John, and how, interestingly enough, later in life, they went on this tour. Apparently struggled like a lot of artists do with addiction. Um, certainly had some interesting romances. It spoke about when he and Christy Brinkley got together and why ultimately they broke up. But
Huge fail
it's
on his part.
huge fail.
Yeah.
He was
I
also
think so.
married to someone that I see on like Food TV, Katie Lee. He's married many times,
Yeah.
and seemed like he had an interesting life, but always kind of seemed, like there was something missing in his life. But let me tell you, love listening to the music. The very end, I don't want to ruin it for everyone, but it's one of his most famous songs, and it shows him singing that song on like old black and white.
Mm-hmm.
When he first sung it, like in the recording studio, and then it showed him singing it now, and just kind of all the ups and downs he's had in his life. I think the only critique I would say is that the second episode was super long, so I
Mm-hmm.
had to watch it in a couple sittings. But if you're a Billy Joel fan, which his music has stood the test of time, and I would argue that we all kind of grew up listening to him, Go watch it. It's a good use of time. It's a good show. 2
Now,
thumbs up.
here's something I'd like to get your thoughts on this. Um, I will admit, when growing up, I was a big Billy Joel fan. I'd probably seen him in concert a couple times. I had probably all the albums at least through like high school, right? So, but as I got further into life and developing my interest in music, I kind of like his music less and less over time. Like I kind of find like if his music comes on the radio, I don't really listen to it. I don't know. I'm just like I kind of like almost look back and I'm kind of like, it's almost I feel a little embarrassed that I was a big Billy Joel fan.
Well,
Yeah, I could see that because some of this. Go ahead, Chris. I
well,
want to
I
hear
was
you.
going to say my response to this is, so let me get this straight. Let me see if I got this.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Right
there's
to
this
Christian
guy.
Brinkley.
There's this guy who likes to play the piano, and he writes a bunch of songs about his girlfriend, and then he makes it big, and everybody thinks he wants to be Elton John, so he gets a booze problem, and then he marries the most famous model in the world, and he can't hold that together, and then he goes on tour with Elton John, and he wrote The Piano Man, and his name's Billy Joel. That's what it's about.
Correct.
Is that it?
I don't
That's
think
his
in
life?
that. I don't think in that order.
Whatever.
but
Isn't this a documentary? Why aren't you all over him about it?
No, but I'm just like saying, like
you were trying to be the implosion.
Yeah,
You know what? There was
yeah.
a little bit of implosion in this one, but it was
Yeah.
more personal implosion.
No,
Yeah,
but like I'm just like saying, like
That's
for
good.
example, like like if I'm listening to like older tunes, right? And maybe like a With or Without You by U2 comes on, I'm listening to that till the end.
Mhm.
If I'm like scrolling through, scanning through, and like Big Shot comes on, I listen to it maybe for like 5 seconds, and then I try to find something else. You know what I mean? I'm just like,
Listen,
yeah,
listen. When I hear the early stuff, like from The Stranger and She's Got a
yeah,
Way About Her,
yeah,
or Captain Jack, or any of that old stuff,
yeah.
I'll keep it on. If it's Tell Her About It, if it's
Right.
that kind of Uptown Girl, I'm probably not. I would
Right,
agree with you, but I
right.
think some of the old stuff, The Piano Man, that's terrific music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Piano Man's a classic. I'd listen to that one, but I don't know. I just sort of feel like Billy Joel.
Well,
Yeah,
listen.
I don't know.
This is this is
I
called
think he
what
could.
Rube. This is called what Rube is watching, and what Rube is
You're right.
watching is
You're right.
giving it
You're
2
right.
thumbs up.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and I'm gonna encourage our hundreds of listeners and viewers out there to go give it a whirl. I
There
think
are a
it's
lot of people out there that like his music, so
Yeah,
I think
that's
a
true.
lot of people would
Yeah.
enjoy it.
go
And
enjoy.
remember, only the good die young.
No, that's like another one that I really like.
There you go.
Here we are getting older.
Mhm.
There you go. That's it for the Philadelphia
Town
Sports
girl,
Porch.
you know I'm living
Thanks for
in
being
an
here. Thanks for
uptown
watching
world.
all over the world on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Thanks for being there. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Philadelphia Sports Porch and the notifications button so you know we're live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. And if you're watching us on X, hit that follow button right there at Philly Porch on X. We do have a Facebook page as well, the Philadelphia Sports Porch. We had some people watching there tonight. And you can catch the podcast anytime you want on Spotify, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you get your freaking podcasts. I'm the TD for Rube in Austin, for the Grand Schwalbini in the Forest. I am out. We'll see you next week.